I told some of our classes years ago about this story of a call that I received of a young married woman having her first child, and they had taken her to the delivery room at the hospital, and they found that it was a breech case, that the child was turned wrong in two, and they tried all they knew to turn that child around and get delivery, and they couldn't. Eventually, one of the nurses said that the pulse was dropping rapidly, and at that stage the doctor asked one of the nurses in the room to step out and phone to me for help. And when that call came, very fortunately, I was in a high enough state of consciousness so that I did not deal with a mother or a baby. I was right there where I could realize that God is the only parent, and it is not corporeal, physical, material. And God's creation can't be or have anything wrong about it. And by the time that nurse got back to the delivery room, the baby had turned itself around without any help from any human hand and delivered itself. The next day, as witness to it, I had calls from the doctor and from the head of the hospital, the head nurse in the hospital, and one of the nurses in the delivery room. Now, there is nothing strange about the experience except that it testifies to what we have just been having in the way of treatment, that if we were dealing, as I was dealing in South Africa, with baggage that was going to return to me, it just wouldn't. And so in this case, if I had been dealing with a human mother and a human babe and human doctors, there would have been trouble. But fortunately, in that case, I was alert enough to the realization that we are not dealing with men or women in this life. We are dealing with God revealing itself as individual being, God declaring itself. And anything then that we can see, hear, taste, touch, or smell becomes merely a mental image and thought. And with that recognition we can drop it and then behold the reality. I've also told these experiences that came in those years when on several different occasions I had women come who had been told that they could not have families. There were medical reasons or physical reasons why they couldn't. And in just a few years there, I had 3 mothers, and one is still one of our students, with 3 children, after having definitely been told that there was no possibility of family. Now, all of this is in the same category. If we looked on men or women as creators, or if we looked on children as human beings occupying time and space, such healings, such experiences could not come about. There's only one way in which these things can come about, and that is through the realization of our true identity. We live and move and have our being in God. Now, in God there is no such thing as birth or death. In God there is infinity, eternality, immortality. And any picture that we see here, taste, touch, or smell, is the arm of flesh, nothingness, a mind creation, and so to be handled. There are a couple of questions here which I don't think I can answer, because they also go back to theological things. One is this, Luke, this is my body which is given for you, this do in remembrance of me. This cup is the New Testament in my blood which is shed for you. I don't know the meaning of those things, because they have theological meanings of which I know nothing. And this, take heed that ye be not deceived, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ. Go ye not therefore after him. Well, that seems more simple, that the Master was merely warning about false teaching. Well, it is well to warn about false teaching, but it wouldn't be necessary to warn about them if we were just as eager to read other passages of Jesus as we are to read that one. He says very definitely, by their fruits ye shall know them. And so why worry about false teaching? The very moment a teaching is presented to you, investigate it and see what its fruitage is. Now, he also told you what fruitage to look for. The sick are healed, the dead are raised, the eyes have the Blind have their eyes opened, the ears have their deaf unstopped. To the poor the gospel is preached. All right? You've witnessed the whole ministry of Jesus Christ. You know what he did through the Christ. He healed the sick, he gave comfort, he fed the hungry, he preached forgiveness, he preached praying for the enemies. All these things are what we call true teachings, because they are Christ teachings. They are revealed to us by the Master Christian. So when a teaching is presented to you, you should need no help from anybody to determine whether it's a true teaching or not. Does it heal? Does it reform sinners? Does it improve one's lot in life? Does it bring harmony? Does it bring peace within? Does it change one's whole outlook on life to a more spiritual aspect? Does it turn one more and more away from materiality? That's all. That's all embodied in the Master's teaching. And if it does those things, it comes somewhere in the neighborhood of being a Christly teaching or spiritual teaching or correct teaching. If, however, it increases one's materiality and makes one seek for physical demonstrations, material demonstrations, if it doesn't lead to a higher, more elevated consciousness, if it doesn't lead to a greater inner purity, a greater abstention from the things of the world, then that's the answer. By their fruits ye shall know them. Yes, that leaves us with one note that I made myself. Students believe our work will banish their discords and replace them with physical or material harmony. And that is not the truth. The truth is that this teaching will banish almost as many physical and material harmonies as it will discord, because the object of this teaching isn't to change evil into human good, but to reveal the true identity or omnipresence or Son of God, Christ. Now, throughout the Master's teaching, you'll find that principle there, that my kingdom is not of this world. Seek ye not what ye shall eat, or what ye shall drink, or wherewithal ye shall be clothed. The Christ message is, seek ye the kingdom of God. Well, it's natural then that if you find the kingdom of God, that it will translate itself on this level as what we call harmonious living conditions. But that will only be incidental. That will be the added thing. What we will have gained is not merely the improved material things. We will have gained the consciousness, and out of that will come the added things. I have explained that this way. If it were possible for anyone to come into this room and give you instantaneously perfect health tonight, what do you think would happen tomorrow? You'd start right out developing some ill, because whatever the state of consciousness that originally brought the ill is going to bring it back again. Then isn't that what he said to the woman? I forgive you. There's no condemnation for you. But sin no more, lest the worst thing come upon you. So it is. If we were freed of all of our physical ailments and were left in the same state of consciousness that we are at this moment, either the same ailments or even worse could return to us. But if our state of consciousness were changed, then not only the ills that were now part of us would begin to disappear, but far less would ever return to us. I've explained it also with money. If each one of us at any given moment could receive the sum of money that to him or her would represent abundance, what particular good would it be, since almost instantly you would start depreciating it, spending it? Then where do you end up? Without it. What are you going to do now? Start all over again, making the demonstration brand new? Whereas, let's forget the object money. If we can attain the realization that our only need is God, the realization of the kingdom of God, by the time we attain it, we will find that the kingdom of God appears tangibly as our daily supply, and then it makes no difference how you spend it, give it away, throw it away. Each day it will renew itself. Why? Because God is infinite. You'll never come to the end of God. So you'll never come to the end of supply. But when you have money as something separate from God, then you have lost baggage. And you can find it one minute, lose it the next minute. Have a lot of it one minute and none of it the next minute. But when you have it as omnipresent, when you have it as the realization The only baggage I can ever own is God. The only baggage I ever want. I want to be clothed in God, fed in God, by God, with God. I want to realize that God is bread and wine and water. God is the substance of life. Therefore, all I need is God. And then when I attain even a measure of that, then you can be assured that God will be appearing day by day in whatever form of human experience is necessary. So it is for this reason that we say, thy grace is my sufficiency in all things. When we say it, however, we must mean it. We mustn't say, thy grace is sufficient to give me money, or thy grace is sufficient to give me health. No, no, no. Thy grace itself is the sufficiency. Then you'll find that when you have the grace, you have all things that come into our human awareness.